Disclaimer alert! In this video, I am going over my thoughts after replaying the original Yooka-Laylee from 2017. At the time of recording all of this, it is late September 2025, and Yooka-Replaylee is several weeks away from being released. So just to clarify, this video is about this game, the original Yooka-Laylee, not this game. And now that that's out of the way, let's get to the video. Do you remember that time I made that whole video about how I wasn't gonna do any more reviewing or, you know, opinion-based pieces, and I was just gonna do like documentaries and stuff? This is one of those exceptions. Recently, I replayed the original Yooka-Laylee on stream, and I wanted to do this because I really wanted to go into the upcoming Yooka-Replaylee with the original version fresh in my mind, so I could better appreciate the changes that had been made. Now, I hadn't played the game since the week or two after it released in 2017. As I previously have mentioned before on this channel, I was a day one backer on the Yooka-Laylee Kickstarter. And when the game came out, I was super excited to get my copy of it for the PS4. Back then, I was a bit of a PlayStation gamer, honestly. And now you could not convince me to pay a single dollar for a PlayStation 5. It's really interesting to see how times have changed. When I played Yooka-Laylee for the first time, I was not unaware that it was a flawed game, but despite that, I had a pretty good time with it. But how did I feel when I replayed the game this year? In this not so glorious year of 2025. I'm really sorry to disappoint everyone, but yeah, no, my feelings didn't change at all. I still thought it was a fine game.
Huh?
Like, don't get me wrong, I still take some issues with the game. But if I were to look at you in the eye, somehow through my PC screen, and tell you that the original Yooka-Laylee is a bad game, I'd be lying to you. I think it's a perfectly acceptable experience, but I don't think it's the experience intended by the devs and the vision they had when they set out to make this game. And obviously, they also seem to think that because they're redoing the game and making it more of what they wanted it to be. The best way that I can describe Yooka-Laylee is that it's a platformer with really good ideas and a good foundation, but it fails to fully realize itself. It's good, but it can just be so much better. It's like when you cook a dish for the first time and you eat it and it tastes totally fine, but as you eat it, you can think of ways to improve the dish the next time you cook it. I say, as someone who burns water when they cook. Anyways, that's the short version of how I feel about Yooka-Laylee, having played it again this past month. So, roll credits?
Okay, let's do this.
You know, I didn't really plan to do like a full review of the original Yooka-Laylee 8 years later, but since I'm already here, I might as well just give some noteworthy thoughts that I had during my replay of it. My replay of Yooka-Laylee, which is not Replaylee. Just a small disclaimer, I did not 100% the game because I am a super busy person, and Replaylee is around the corner anyways. When it comes to Yooka-Laylee, I actually really didn't dislike any of the worlds. I used to tell people that I didn't like Glitter Glaze Glacier. I don't really know what I was thinking when I was saying that. The level was totally fine. Capital Casino was also fine, although I understand why some people could find it frustrating. The coins themselves were still a reward enough for me for completing the tasks and minigames, and they did add up pretty fast into pages, so I didn't find the coin system to be overly tedious or anything. But that being said, my favorite level is still probably Moody Maze Marsh. And you know what I just thought of? My favorite Banjo-Kazooie level is Bubble Gloop Swamp. Holy moly. Some things really don't change, huh? All the songs in the game are absolute bangers, but there's really no surprises there because they have such a stacked group of composers. The game does feel like it comes together the best when you have the Flappy Flight ability, although it does just make some things a little too easy to cheese. I don't really mind that though, because it's a good way to help players out that maybe get a bit frustrated with some of the platforming challenges early on and have to skip them when they first encounter them. Flappy Flight can also be used to bully Rampo, and I think that's beautiful. Some people have criticized that the worlds feel empty, so I really tried to focus on that subject as I played through the game. I wouldn't really say that they felt empty to me so much as the space in the levels didn't feel efficiently used, if that makes any sense. There were plenty of things to do, but sometimes it felt like those things weren't as spread out as they could have been, resulting in parts of the map feeling a pinch empty of things to do for pages. But I wouldn't say the worlds themselves felt empty. I do think that populating the worlds a little bit more would be good though. Like, I definitely wouldn't complain about that or think it's too cramped with just bumping up the population a little bit. Yes, Kardos's challenges and Rextra's minigames were pretty rough. I'd say those were the weakest points of the game for me. Honestly, I got to the point where as soon as I saw Rextra or Kartos on the map, I'd just turn around and go the opposite way, most of the time. Rextra's minigames were just kind of tedious, and Kardos's gem collecting thing high-key made me crash out a bit, but it's fine. Everything is fine, because apparently those things are getting fixed in Replaylee. Capital B's fight was painful, and his second phase was maybe a pinch too long, honestly, but remembering that he follows the likes of King K. Rool and Gruntilda as bosses, the length and difficulty of his boss fight just kind of makes a lot of sense. One could even say he has big shoes to fill. Get it? Because he's a big. Anyways, all in all, I had a good time with the game. I even replayed Banjo-Tooie and DK64 recently to keep in mind similar games of that genre before I went ahead and I replayed Yooka-Laylee. And at the end of my playthrough, I thought Yooka-Laylee was fine. I thought it was good. My opinion of it did not change even 8 years later. I hate to sound like a broken record, but in the last video that I made about Yooka-Replaylee, I talked about why I think Yooka-Laylee got a bad reputation. And having just replayed the game, I feel even more certain about that theory that I shared. For those who haven't seen the video, I will do a quick recap. I think Yooka-Laylee suffered from a controversy happening near its launch, which caused certain people to have a negative disposition of the game going into its release. I think fans wanted a game that made them feel like Banjo-Kazooie made them feel when they were young. And ultimately, given how we're all older, we're at different parts of our lives and we've experienced more life things, it's just something that's going to be harder for a game to do. These two factors are very important. But let's take some of the criticisms I had about the game as well, so we can get a full picture here. While I will never say that Yooka-Laylee is a bad game, its charm and personality don't feel as strong as they could. There's plenty of great gags and jokes, but it never quite feels like it goes as far as it could. That sort of, it's good, but it has untapped potential factor. A few frustrating minigames. Self-explanatory, I think. And then, finally, some control jank. I mean, almost every platformer has it, let's be kind of real. But the problem is that when you're already mad about reasons A, B, C, and D, it starts to make mountains out of molehills, right? Out of every little problem that you run into. Something that would ordinarily be only mildly frustrating becomes a lot bigger of a deal when your anger is piling up from other things. I think the result of all of this negativity was that the game got a bad reputation that it never really deserved. And I'm saying that with my whole chest. I really don't think it deserved the reputation that it got. And because this is the internet, I have to add this disclaimer. Please note there is a difference between me saying that it didn't deserve its reputation and me saying that it's a perfect game. Something can be flawed, but simply get dunked on too hard. And I think that's what happened here. I don't think the game was perfect, but I think the hate was disproportionate to the actual quality of the game. This is mostly in reference to people that I feel overly criticize the game and were just too harsh on it. Not really the people who played the game and just were like, yeah, I'm just not vibing with this game. I think it's fine to not vibe with a game. Sometimes you get a game and you don't vibe with it. That's totally fine. I think there's a difference between a game being bad and someone not vibing with a game. And I think that's a distinction not everybody makes. Again, I think some stuff is merited in terms of criticisms, but I think that, again, it's just disproportionate to the actual quality of the game. I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but I have to put in all these disclaimers or we end up with a waffles and pancakes situation. The point I want to make is that you're really cool for watching this video. No, seriously, you're cool. And I hope you're having a good day. I do want to apologize for the long wait between this video and the last one. I have been figuring out how I want the new workflow to be for YouTube. During this time, I've definitely figured out more of how I want to do things in terms of the back end. So hopefully we can start getting some videos out. I do have one that's almost done, and it's going to be about space foxes. I hope you're excited. It'll be a nice return to form, I think. In the future, I would really like to do a long and polished retrospective of the entire Yooka-Laylee series. Let me know if you're down for that. I would definitely be happy to make that, especially as a day one Kickstarter backer. Kickstarter backer. That sounds weird. Is that what they call those? But until then, did you like Yooka-Laylee? Are you excited for Replaylee? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. I don't know if there's any Alphonses. That'd be funny. Wait, there we are. There we are. See? See? I told you guys. I told you guys. I'm in the credits. I'm right there. See? It's by my horn. On the left side. Yeah. I'm right there. There's me.